Finishes, Video 4. Continuing with our finished work for our Revit model, we will now move inside to the kitchen living room area, and we will customize the materials for the kitchen. We'll also add some crown molding into our main living space. Alright, so we'll go back to our first floor view, and we're going to run a 3D camera view into our kitchen and living room space. I'm going to put it in the upper left corner here. I'm going to drag it down through the space all the way out. And you'll see here we have our kitchen. Alright, you won't have these lines here because that's the floor plan view that I've transposed on top. But we will have some crown mold to add here. So one thing we can do is, remember before we added the trim to the bottom of each wall, and we could have done the crown molding, which is the trim on the top, in the same way, but every single room would have had crown molding. And generally in the residential architecture world, if your home's not a large home, you might only have the crown molding in the main spaces, so your kitchen and your living room and your foyer. So that's what we're going to do here. That way I can show you the other way to add trim to a home. We're going to click on the Architecture tab, click on the Wall button, and we're going to go down and choose Wall Sweep. Now the Wall Sweep is something that can be placed manually, and then we will need to realign it later with our Align tool. Alright, so there's a default here. We have a wall sweep cornice and a regular cornice. Right now we don't know what those are, so we're going to click on the Edit Type and check that out. So we have a cornice of 3 inch by 2 3/8. We also have that base molding that we had before, and we have a default. We also have the ability to change the material here. So the material is going to be paint trim, as we had before. And the cornice, 3 inches fine to choose. If you wanted to add another specific type of profile, you would have to go back to the other menu from the last video and add that in. You're going to load it in and then OK your way back out of that, and then come to this view and you'll see it selectable in your menu here. So we'll just stick with this 3-inch cornice. That's totally fine. And we'll click OK. So we're adding wall sweep dash cornice everywhere right now. And we can do this in 3D mode, or we can do it in a 2D section. It might be better in a 2D section because editing in 3D mode, it always gets a little tricky, especially whenever you're working inside one of these cameras. So I'm going to go back out to first floor and cut a section view through, I'm going to go through this wall here. And I'm going to move this section up, and I'm going to increase the size of this section. These are separate pieces. You need to drag both. And then I'm going to add another section for this wall here. Alright, so we have each main wall selected with a section, and we'll get into the weeds with this area here in just a moment. Undo that. That was a mistake. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we're going to start with one of the walls, doesn't matter which. Go to View. Now you won't see the windows here. I've yet to add those. Just haven't done that yet as I'm filming these videos, but it doesn't matter because we're really only working with the trim right now. So we're going to go back to Wall Sweep. We have the wall sweep cornice selected, and I'm going to go ahead and click that down where I see it, And then I'm going to press Escape or go back to Modify and clear out the Sweep command. And then I'm going to zoom in. And if we turn on the Fine Detail here, we can see more lines. And we're going to do a Align command. And we're going to align this to the bottom of the ceiling. All right. And since this was one continuous wall, we have completed the cornice work for this side of the home. We can go to the next section view and repeat the same thing. So we have, you'll see this is the cornice board that we had just placed. We have our blue painted wall. We have our ceiling here. And we need to go ahead and add another wall sweep. So wall sweep. And go ahead and place it in. And press Escape or go to Modify. Alright, so you'll repeat this process all the way around. And we will make sure that we have trim on every wall in the foyer, living room, and kitchen. Go to View. Actually, let's go ahead and just wrap this around real fast. Wall Sweep. We'll click it in here. And since this is one continuous wall, it continued on. And we'll add another one. Same command all the way through. And we just need to make sure that we have everything aligned correctly. And then we'll go back to that 3D view that we had. And you'll see here that we need to put a few more pieces in. If you ever have an instance like this right here, where you see the trim has stopped going all the way in, you can click on the trim itself and drag it over. And it does not affect the wall, it just affects the trim. So you can drag it across and have it meet the next piece of trim. Alright. We'll go back to the wall sweep. We can add it in 3D. Just make sure you get it in the right location all the way around. And we'll do it on this wall as well. Sometimes the computer likes to lag when we get this far into it. Let's go back to our section view and we'll place it here. Wall sweep. And right on top. Modify or Escape. Go back to 3D and we will place it. Sweep. Now this wall is not wanting to let us allow, it won't allow it because we placed this trim here and it's gone all the way across. So we can use our split tool, and we might need to do this in our 2D. And we will come through and use our split tool, I believe it was right here, and split the wall, which will allow us to split the trim, like so. That's actually moving it forward. Drag that back, and drag that to there. And then let's see. Okay, so for this section we're going to click on the Modify Returns button, and that'll allow it to wrap around the wall, like so. And know that that's a feature. You can do that on any of these, like the openings for the doors. You can click on Modify Returns, and it will wrap around so that you can connect. Same procedure, you can click on this and you can drag the trim across without affecting the wall. So you will need to do that for all of your openings, which is just occurring here and at the moment. Alright, so work on this. See what we can do. Actually, we'll just drag this return around, and we'll do it that way. There we are. Alright, so now we have all of our trim work in on the top and the bottom. We will need to come in and give a quick color check. Realistic view. Now, realistic view will make your materials look exactly like they would be in real life at the end. It's not always best to operate in realistic mode because it will lag your computer. So I always work in shaded view, which is the same color schemes because we click that checkbox in the graphics tab of the materials manager. Alright, so kitchen appliances, it's going to be similar to the doors, the way we edited each individual. You can edit type, and then you can change the cabinet material, and you can have it be a specific color. We can go to the material manager, and you can pick a color that we've used before, or you can right click again on one of these paint colors and duplicate. We can call it paint cabinet. We can go to appearance. We always duplicate the asset and then change the color. So for example, we could have like a dark green cabinet if that's something we're interested in, a gray. You can pick a color based off the Pantones if you want to do some research online, see what kind of color scheme you want to have. I'm going to pick this gray color. Actually, let's go white. A little bit different from the trim, just a tad. Actually, let's go the same. So paint cabinet and paint trim for me is going to be the same color. For you, it may be different. That's up to you. Click apply, OK. I'm going to copy this, Control C and Control V. Cabinet handles, those are going to remain the same as they are. That's just the way it is. You may not see a change because you haven't. The default is white. So you're going to punch through here and handle all of that. Once you finish painting everything that's cabinet related, we're going to make sure we change this panel here as well to match the back. As we did the island wrap, that's going to be done with our material, and we'll make it paint cabinet. OK, OK, and you see the change there, no problem. The last thing we'll touch on is the countertops. It's just like the flooring where we import an image from our mats material list. So we can go to, there may be a countertop default. There is. So we can click on this countertop and we can change the appearance. So right now this countertop material has a stain color and this wood finish material. We can go get some sort of slate or Carrara or marble or quartz. You can go ahead and pick anything that you want to. You can use this library to do so. In the future, we'll go import our own. I'm going to grab this quartz candy color. That just looks like something that might show a little difference here in our view. I'm not going to stain it. I'm going to uncheck that. And click OK. And now our countertop material is labeled the countertop. And now every countertop material changed because they were all labeled countertop. If you created your own material, then that would be what you have to assign every single one. Same for this floor, this sinkhole deal that we used. There's no category here, but we can go to countertop and press OK. Alright, one more video next. We'll talk about backsplash and adding custom materials to the walls.